Hi, this is Amber from Quilts Plus, and I'm here to show you how to do a burrito pillowcase. You're going to start with a 1/4 yard of material for the cuff, and I have a 2.5 inch accent strip. Now, just to save time, I have pre-sewn this onto my cuff. I also have 3/4 yard of my feature fabric. I'm going to lay my cuff fabric down right side up, and then I'm going to take my feature fabric and I'm going to put it right sides together with the cuff fabric, lining up the top edge with the raw edge of the cuff. I'm going to fold my main fabric, not really in half, but close. I don't want it to go all the way to the top. I want to leave about 5 inches here. I'm going to fold it again, and then one more time. That leaves a nice area of cuff showing. You do not want to sew the main part of your fabric into the cuff area. So then I'm going to bring the cuff up and match it with the top that I started with. So we have a sandwich. We have the accent strip, we have the main fabric, and we have the bottom of the cuff. And then I'm going to pin it across. And I don't pre-pin the first two layers because I know I can gather all 3 together at once and pin. You can put your pins as close together as you're comfortable with. You just want to make sure you have all 3 layers sandwiched. After all 3 layers are sandwiched together, you're going to take your burrito over to your sewing machine, and you're going to stitch this pinned edge 1/4 inch. At this point, you're just doing 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, I have already completed my 1/4 inch seam allowance. On this one. So if Julie, I don't know if you can get up close enough for them to see that, but it's a 1/4 inch up here. And I'm just going to grab a hold of the inside, the main part of the fabric, and part of the cuff, and I'm going to start pulling. And that pulls the body out of the cuff. It's almost like making a purse the way you're turning it right side out. It just kind of all comes out. Like that. And now we're going to go over and press it. I'm going to use the heat-resistant thimbles, and it comes in a set of 3, like this. And one is for your thumb, one is for your pointer finger, and the third one is for your middle finger. Now, these have a couple different uses. First of all, they're silicone, so they're not going to let you get burnt while you're working with your iron. The second thing is, it prevents you from having to use saliva, which we don't want to do in this day and age, to get your seams out of there really good. It sticks to the fabric. It has little grippers. You can see my fingers, little grippers, and I can just pull away. So I'm going to go over to the iron now and iron this out. And I'm just kind of pulling on the cuff as I'm doing it so I can get both sides at the same time. There we go. Now I'm going to take it over and trim it up. When I'm trimming, I normally try and get the seams even. I've lined up the selvages on the body. My cuff goes a little bit over, which is fine. I'm gonna get my ruler so it's going against the fold here to get a straight line going down, and then I'm gonna cut that off. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll just flip it over. And all I want to do is get those holes out of there. Okay. Now, we're going to do a French seam, and what that means is we're going to encase the original seam. I'm going to put the fabrics right sides or wrong sides together. And I like to pin them. Not everyone will do this. We've got people who like to pin, people who don't. I tend to be a pinner. But I like to make sure that my seams on the cuff are lined up. And that's part of the reason I pin. I don't use a lot of pins when I'm doing this, but I do like to use a few. Notice I am leaving my silicone fingertips on, and it's because it helps me move the fabric easily. I get a good grip on it. Okay, I would now be ready to go over and sew 1/8 of an inch. When you are doing your first seam, it is a scant 1/2 of a quarter is 1/8. You've got 1/8 of an inch on your 1/4 inch foot. If you have a regular sewing machine, just a Pfaff, if you have a Singer, a lot of Singers, they have 2 skinny feet on the 1/4 inch foot. And the outside of that foot is your 1/4 inch. The inside is your 1/8 of an inch. Now, on my featherweight, I have the 1/4 inch on the right side, and the left side is the 1/8 of an inch. So I had to sew it on the left side on my featherweight. But I went over and I did 1/8 of an inch seam all the way around on the 2 sides that need it, across the top and down the side. Now, if you notice, we have some little feathers right in here, just little threads that have come up. I want to cut those off before I even start turning it right side out. I'm just going to take my rotary cutter and my ruler. I'm going to go across the top, and I'm just going to clean up those strings. If I don't do that, they will appear on the other, when I put that other seam in. So now I'll turn it sideways and do the same thing. Don't have as many going that way, but I still have some. Okay, feathers are cleaned up. Now I'm going to turn this baby inside out. To help me do this, I'm going to use a quick turn. This is actually a tube turner that I use a lot for purses and things, but it comes with a big chopstick. And I find that helpful in turning edges out. I just put it in there, I get it up to the corner, I run it along the inside edge, and it just runs right along the edge of that to the other corner. And then I can run it down. Again, just along the edge, and it brings all the edge out. Without me having to fuss with it a lot. Now I need to take it over and press this, because we need a good press in it in order to get a good 1/4 inch going around. Again, I'm going to use my silicone gloves, or silicone fingers, to help me turn this. Because you really need to roll it to make sure that you've got everything out. And having the silicone really helps because I'm working with steam and it gets warm under there and it'd be burning my fingers at this point. Get the top side. One of the things you really want to do when you're sewing that 1/8 of an inch is check it to make sure you caught everything. Sometimes your fabric will slip and you'll miss a little point. You can just go back and fix that easily. Now I'm going to go and sew my 1/4 inch seam that's going to encase that rough edge. I am going to back tag here. Just do a nice 1/4 inch seam all the way down. And I am going to run off the edge. I'm going to back tag. I'm going to flip it around. Do the same thing. That's my inside edge. I'm going to flip flip it right side out. Again, if I were over closer to my tube turner, I'd probably use my tube turner to get it all the way out. And I have a beautiful pillowcase. After we finish here, I'm going to go and press this for the final time, and it is ready to give away. This is a nice gift for anyone who you need to give a gift for Christmas. And like we talked about earlier, we are a collection point for the Blue Star Moms. They collect items and pack them up for our troops. They are looking for handmade pillowcases. They'd like to put one in every single package. They don't want military insignia on them. They don't need to be patriotic. They need to be fun. They need to be pretty. We've got men and women who serve. Anyone would love to get one of these. Our collection date end is October 31st, so we need to have those in here before Saturday the 31st. I appreciate you watching this.